Hey guys, Wade here. Today we're going to be training a 5.5-month-old puppy named Bond. He's had a ton of puppy marks. He's marking good out to about 100 yards with bumpers and birds. When he was really young, we taught him to come on a whistle for a treat because he would pick the bumper up and run to the house or the truck or the trailer. I mean, he would go 100 yards away from whoever was handling him. So anyway, we conditioned him early on to hear with a treat, and then layered in some e-collar corrections and conditioned him to the hear command. I'm getting treats out of my pocket. This is gonna be a short session today. I'm making this for a good friend of mine, Ben Thomas, and his dog Creek. He bought a puppy out of my litter and has a litter mate here to Bond, and so he's trying to do some of the training on his own and is hitting some normal, typical roadblocks, and so I want to help him with that. The classic problem he's dealing with is the dog is just kind of locking up whenever he's giving it the hear command, and so a lot of puppies will do that. Here, good boy. We try to always set our dogs down so that we don't impact the joints. You see this guy's queued up and ready. He's in tune. He's like, man, this is great. He's like, got the training gear on. I know I'm gonna get treats. I see the little tail wag. Here. Sit. Boy, okay. Good boy. Today I'm gonna be isolating the H-E-E-L. Sit. Good. Okay, we balance train, so there's a lot of praise, a lot of positive physical touch, a lot of treat reward, but we do correct for improper behavior. Sit. Good. So we are using a leash and a prong collar. Sit. But just like with a good horse trainer, you're wanting this dog to get so refined that the amount of pressure, whether it's with a heel and a boot on the side of a horse, you put pressure on the right, you open the left leg, you want that horse to go left. So the dog's the same way. We want them to, with as little leash pressure as possible, to give us the desired command, and eventually no pressure at all. So right here, one soft little tug. Now that's an improper heel. Number one rule, whatever you tolerate, they will do. You want to be a good trainer, a good handler. Number one rule, whatever you tolerate, they will do. So we're not going to tolerate that. So we're going to repeat the command with a little tug. Heel. Good. Sit. Good. A little pat on the head, a little verbal good. We're going to come back, do it again. Heel. There was no pressure at all that time, and that was a good effort. So I'm giving him a kernel of food. I usually use the dog's kibble, just whatever their natural dog food is. Some dogs aren't as motivated by their natural dog food, and I will use the what are they called? Oh my goodness, pepperoni beef sticks. Heel. So that's not going to work. Heel. Sit. Good. I'm going to go ahead and reward. Good. Sit with a physical chest scrub. Heel. Sit. Good. Very good. Okay. Heel. Sit. Good. Sit. Heel. Sit. There we go. I want him totally parallel. I want his toes in line with my heel. So his toes, my heel. His nose behind my toes. Let's do it right here. Heel. Sit. Okay, so see, his toes are in line with my heel, and his nose is behind my toes. That's my heel standard. A lot of people have a different heel standard, but that's what I like, because I want to be where I can see where the dog is looking, and most of this is for our competition program. You know, if a dog heels out there, you have a little less control and less communication ultimately. He doesn't know if I'm leaning back or if I'm pushing, you know? And so when a dog has a proper heel right here, I've got a lot more opportunity to persuade him. Good. And show him right where that bird is. Good boy. I like this dog here. He's eager to work. Great work ethic. Here. Sit. Good. Attaboy. Sit. Good. Good job, Vaughn. Sit. Nope. Sit. So I got my first verbal no in. That was because I gave him an SIT command and he started to take it, but then he moved a little bit. Sit. I got another movement right there out of him. And so that's why I'm doing all this, to be a distraction. Now I'm going to go back into what I call the yo-yo, to the end of my leash and back. Good. To the end of my leash and back. I don't want the dog conditioned that every time I get to the end of the leash, I'm going to call him H-E-R-E. I don't want him to come H-E-R-E every time I hit the end of the leash. We're real sit heavy in our program. Sit is the foundation. I would rather the dog be sticky on sit than to be moving and constantly moving around. It's important for a hunting dog and a competition dog. And boy, it sure is a useful tool around the house to be able to tell a dog sit and have your neighbor come over or your kids come around or somebody come around and the dog holds the sit regardless of the distraction. He's done really good. So I'm going to give him a treat reward here. I'm going to walk past him. I'm anticipating a move. Sit. He moved a paw. I don't want any movement. So I gave him the sit correction. Okay. He did good there. Sit. Making some noise on both sides of him. Sit. So I got a movement there I didn't want. So I gave him a light sit correction. Open the cabinet. Good. Yeah. Sit. Got another movement there that I didn't want, but it's minor. Most owners aren't even paying attention to their dog's feet. They're just more worried about the dog himself. I'm wanting you to pay attention to every detail. I want you to look at the foot and the paw, and I want you to know, does a back foot move? Does a front foot move? And catch every little subtle movement until you get a good, stable sit like this out of a 5-month-old, 5.5-month-old puppy. This is what you're looking for. Heel. Heel. Come down here to the end of the lane. Go back with me. Good. Go for an in motion sit. So that's where we're walking. I keep walking and I make the dog take this. Good. Good. Away. Inside turns. Good. Sit. Good. Heel. 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 Keep this puppy moving with me. Heel. Good. Heel. Good. Sit. Sit. So he didn't take that sit right away, so I gave him some leash pressure. Good. Hey, good. There you go. Good boy. Come in with some treats. And I don't want my sessions to be too mundane, so when I see that I've got a dog who's slowing down, I'm going to speed up my tempo. If I have a dog that's real chargy and hot, I'm going to slow way down. I'm going to slow my tempo down. Cesar Milan, the dog whisperer, project calm, assertive energy. I would say that's true when you have a dog that's worked up and hyper. But if you're trying to motivate a dog and you want them to be excited and you want them to go get a bumper, you better do the opposite of calm, assertive energy. And I call it channeling your inner cheerleader. Break. Good boy. All right. Attaboy. Hey, good puppy. Hey, good puppy. Here. Sit. Good. Very good. Hey, we're going to work on holding. Good. Okay. Hey. So all of my sessions with these young guys, when we're doing leash work, we're just incorporating some real simple hold. And we also do, we do a lot of things, but anyway, sit. Good. Oh, wait, here. Good. Sit. Heel. Heel. Sit. Good. So what do you do if you have a dog that locks up? You're giving them some leash pressure. And we don't start right off the bat with these prong collars. We start right off the bat like this with just a regular slip lead around their neck. And we teach them how to do everything here. Good. Sit. With just the slip lead. Heel. Heel. Sit. With the tugs on the slip lead. Heel. Good. Sit. Now let's say I get a dog that's really being stubborn or stubborn is the wrong word. 95% of the time it's confusion. The dog doesn't understand. So you have to break all the processes down, little bitty baby steps. So if you get a dog that's pulling and you're giving a command and they're not complying, you've got to simplify. You shorten the distance, you shorten the request, you move the dog physically into the desired behavior, and then praise. And you educate. There's 3 stages of training: teach, ask, demand. It's so funny. My daughter was at a horse riding lesson, and he said that there was 3 stages for horse riding: ask, tell, demand. And I'm like, wow, now that's for a riding handler. That on a trained horse, you ask, then you tell, then you demand it. But I was coming from a training perspective. You got to teach first. Teach, teach, teach. Show, show, show. Teach, teach, teach. Show, show, show. Then you start asking. Then you start demanding. And you may do all 3 of those layers. Even, let's say a dog's been in your program a long time and we're back on something that should be mundane, routine, and simple for him. And he's making a mistake. Go back to teach for a minute. Teach, teach. Then ask, then demand. So anyway, that's the process for dog training. So if I get a dog that's digging in or really being reluctant, pulling against the leash, usually they don't understand and we need to go right back to teach. So let's say I was trying to call little Bond here into HEEL, the heel position. I would, and he's really resistant and just doesn't know what to do and is freezing up, and at the end of the leash, a lot of guys go more pressure, but usually more pressure causes more problems. I found the best solution is more patience and more teaching. And then you can get out of that and teach the dog and educate the dog instead of panic the dog. Pressure and more pressure usually results in panicking. And I say usually because there's no absolutes when you're working with an animal, a live animal. They've got a personality and a brain and all that stuff, and so you've got to work within that animal's context and all that. So it's not like programming a computer or tuning up a motor where A plus B always equals C. So there's no absolutes, but generally pressure creates more problems. More pressure creates more problems. So you're going to be better to err on the side of patience instead of pressure. Okay, so I'm going to pretend like I've given an HEEL command. Well, see, he's just heel, sit. He's moving with me too easy. But if he wasn't, and we were out here and I was saying HEEL, kind of like this, heel. Okay, once I heel, good, good, good. So I'm not putting constant pressure. I'm dink, 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 tug, 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 tug. But I would simplify. I would get real close. I would say, heel, 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 good, good, good. And I would use a lot of praise and a lot of uptones. And if the dog's really not understanding, I'm going to couple in some luring. I've got the treat in my hand here with the leash. Come on, good, good, good. Yeah, there we go. Good, good. But pretty quickly, once I understand that he understands, heel, heel, good, sit. We're just going to go straight into those leash pops. After you've done your diligence for teach and you've simplified, heel, heel, good, sit. You don't want to tolerate them stalemating you. because the number one rule for dog training and handling is whatever you tolerate, they will do. So you don't want to tolerate them stalemating you. You've got to get some movement. How you get that movement is going to ultimately define who you are as a dog trainer. And so I like to err towards success. I want to get the movement that I want through success and training the success than correcting the failure. And it's about emphasis. This is a really subtle thing, and a lot of trainers don't understand even thinking along those lines. But I would rather use success, sit, good boy, than to constantly correct the failure, heel. If you do something successfully enough, it becomes a habit and a routine, and you're more likely to get that response, heel, heel. And then once you've got that on a routine basis, when you do have to make a correction, it makes more sense to the dog, because the desired or positive or successful behavior pattern has been done so many times that now when they go outside of that bounds and they get a correction for that, they understand. It makes a little more sense to the dog when you've had a lot of success instead of a lot of failure. I know a lot of trainers that they're heavy on failure, and they're pretty much only educating the dog by correcting for the dog doing it wrong, and they're not rewarding and affirming success and actually putting the dog in a situation where they can't do anything but do it right, and that's the key. I'm giving away all my secrets here. Sit. Sit. No, sit. Oh, I got a refusal finally. Sit. Good. Okay, good boy. So I even rewarded the refusal, because eventually the refusal was concluded. Heel. 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 Sit. Sit. Okay. That's funny. Heel. 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 Sit. I understand why I got a refusal. There were some distractions. Here. Good. Heel. Heel. Sit. Good. Okay. Good. Good boy. And now we're done with this session. Kennel. Kennel. Atta boy. Good on. Come on. He's a good puppy. That's a good kid. Okay. Yeah, buddy. All right, so that'll conclude our training session for today. I hope this helps everybody in their pursuit of having a great dog, whether you're looking for a good, obedient family companion, or you're looking for the next, master hunter or derby winner or whatever. I hope the training helps. All-American retrievers, Texas duck dogs, callback retrievers, all of that has websites. Check it out. We're located in Gainesville, Texas. Happy training.